Hamas was established under the influence of the Muslim Brotherhood, an Islamist organization. The Muslim Brotherhood had ideological and political roots in various countries and advocated for the establishment of Islamic governance. In Palestine, they began mobilizing the Muslim population against the Israeli occupation. In December 1987, a group of Islamist activists joined forces and announced the creation of Hamas. Its name is in Arabic acronym meaning Islamic Resistance Movement, and it's sworn to Israel's destruction. The organization was officially registered in the Palestinian West Bank in early 1988. Hamas's primary goals were to resist the Israeli occupation, liberate Palestinian territories, and establish Islamic rule in Palestine. The organization promoted the idea of jihad and the use of armed means to achieve these objectives. Hamas quickly expanded its influence, particularly in the Gaza Strip. It conducted both armed attacks and social and charitable programs, which allowed it to gather broad support among many Palestinians. The Muslim Brotherhood played a significant role in the formation of Hamas. It is an Islamic political and social organization founded in 1928 in Egypt by Hassan al-Banna. The organization aims to unite and strengthen the Muslim community and promote Islamic principles and values in political and social life. Hassan al-Banna was an Egyptian Islamic activist and the founder of the Muslim Brotherhood. He was born on October 14, 1906, and was one of the most important figures in the 20th century Islamic political movement. He was assassinated in 1949 as a result of a political murder. His ideas and influence remained strong, and the Muslim Brotherhood continues to exist and operate in various countries to this day, influencing politics and society in the Middle East. The organization is considered Islamist, meaning it seeks to establish an Islamic legal framework in society based on Sharia principles. The Muslim Brotherhood supports active Muslim participation in political life and advocates for an Islamic state. It also engages in political processes in various countries and often establishes political parties to compete in elections and influence policy. Some countries, such as Egypt, Russia, Saudi Arabia, and the United Arab Emirates, have marked the Muslim Brotherhood as a terrorist organization and banned its activities. In 2006, Hamas came to power as a result of elections. The decision to hold elections was made with the involvement of various Palestinian factions and was part of a democratic process. This decision received broad support both within the Palestinian Authority and among Palestinian communities beyond the occupied territories. Various Palestinian parties, including Fatah and Hamas, were required to register their candidates and platforms for election participation. This involved submitting documents, presenting candidate lists, and other procedural formalities. Parties initiated active pre-election campaigns, including rallies, public speeches, advertising, and the spreading of their programs and ideas among voters. They also mobilized their supporters to ensure high voter turnout. Numerous international observers monitored the election process, including representatives from the European Union and other organizations. This helped ensure transparency and fairness in the elections. Ultimately, the elections took place in January 2006, and Hamas emerged victorious, winning a majority of seats in the Palestinian Legislative Council. This was an unexpected outcome that reshaped the political landscape in Palestine. Following Hamas's victory in the January 2006 elections to the Palestinian Legislative Council, they gained the right to form the Palestinian government. It was a historic moment that brought significant changes to the political dynamics in Palestine. Ismail Haniyeh was one of the prominent members of Hamas and was chosen as the Prime Minister of the Palestinian Authority after his party's victory in the elections. He became a key figure in Palestinian politics and an important figure in the struggle for Palestinian rights and independence. According to the election results, Hamas had the right to form the government. Ismail Haniyeh led this process and formed a new government comprising members of Hamas and some independent figures. Hamas's victory in the elections elicited mixed reactions from the international community. Some countries and organizations expressed concerns and refused to recognize the Hamas government, considering the organization as a terrorist entity. Other countries attempted to support the political process and dialogue between Palestinian factions. Following the 2006 elections, a power struggle between Fatah and Hamas ensued, leading to the division of Palestine into two jurisdictions, Gaza and the West Bank. In early 2007, tensions between Fatah and Hamas within the Palestinian Authority reached a critical point. Clashes and conflicts between the two factions in various parts of the country, including Gaza and the West Bank, became an escalating issue. In June 2007, Hamas conducted an armed uprising in the Gaza Strip and achieved dominance over Fatah. This led to the expulsion of Fatah forces from Gaza and established Hamas control over the territory. Subsequently, the practical division of Palestinian territories began. Gaza came under Hamas control, while the West Bank remained under Fatah's control. After Hamas took control of Gaza in 2007, Israel and Egypt imposed a blockade on the territory, restricting the movement of goods, people, and services to and from Gaza. This had a significant impact on the lives of Gaza's population. The blockade limited the supply of essential goods, medical equipment, and construction materials, leading to shortages, electricity shortages, and restricted freedom of movement for residents. It also garnered widespread criticism from international organizations and human rights groups, which expressed concerns about the humanitarian crisis in the region. Israel and Egypt justified the blockade on the grounds of national security and the need to prevent weapons from entering Gaza. Over the past 16 years since Hamas came to power, there have been frequent military confrontations between the Gaza Strip and Israel, often triggered by rocket attacks from Gaza. Two significant events stand out, each lasting several weeks and resulting in numerous casualties. Chronologically, the first such confrontation occurred in 2008. The operation was called Operation Cast Lead, and it was initiated in response to multiple rocket attacks from Gaza into Israel, especially targeting southern communities. During the military action, Israeli forces entered the Gaza Strip with the aim of weakening the adversary and destroying rocket launch sites. The operation lasted 22 days and ultimately concluded with a mutually acceptable ceasefire. The next operation was launched for several reasons. Hamas and other Palestinian armed groups in the Gaza Strip continued to launch rockets and mortars into southern Israel. These attacks caused panic and fear among the Israeli population, leading to a decision to take measures to halt rocket strikes. In June 2014, 3 Israeli teenagers were kidnapped and killed in the West Bank. Israel claimed that Hamas was responsible for their abduction, although Hamas denied involvement. These murders further escalated tensions in the region. Israel also discovered that Hamas was using underground tunnels to carry out armed infiltrations and attacks on Israeli soldiers. Israel decided to launch an operation to destroy these tunnels. In 2014, Israel announced the start of Operation Protective Edge, which lasted for 50 days. Given all that has been mentioned, a fair question arises. Where does Hamas acquire its rockets? Israel claims that they receive military equipment from Iran, which actively assists and supports the movement. There is also information suggesting that some types of weaponry might enter the Gaza Strip through underground tunnels from Egypt. Recently, official Hamas representatives released a video showing how they manufacture rockets themselves using handmade materials. One of the surprising sources for these materials is water pipes, some of which, oddly enough, they obtain from within Israel's territory. On October 7, 2023, Israel was attacked from the Gaza Strip, beginning with the usual rocket attacks, followed by armed formations as Hamas militants launched an offensive. This is a topic for a separate full-length video, which we will release shortly. Please subscribe to our channel to stay informed about the release of new videos, and if you enjoyed the video, we appreciate your likes and comments. Thank you.